Switch to the YouTube.
Big poppin', money in the bank coming, dropping a deposit. Having it my way, so I got these bitches watching. Steady getting to it, couldn't fit it in my pocket. Flexing everything, baby, tell me big poppin'. Money in the bank coming, dropping a deposit. Having it my way, so I got these bitches watching. Steady getting to it, couldn't fit it in my pocket. Flexing everything, baby, tell me what the topic.
What's poppin', everybody? Welcome back to the bar. If you were with me over on the Twitch stream, then you know that we were already talking about Ashlee Janae. But because I didn't feel like coming on here and doing a second video, I just decided to switch on over here to YouTube and just give you guys what we've been talking about when it comes down to Ashlee. So shout out to everybody that is joining in. Again, if you don't know me, my name is thegirlhenny, and I am your favorite goss and doc tender. When it comes down to the story about Ashlee Janae is a young woman who we all know. She was 31 years old, and she was a luxury soft life influencer. There have been many rumors and a lot of stories that have been circulating when it comes down to this case. One of those has been Joe's connection in Zanzibar. There have been rumors and speculations about her being on OnlyFans, being into sugar daddy, sugar baby life, and all types of things that have come out. People have been upset with her because she chose to have an interracial relationship, and the list goes on and on. Well, one of the things that has come out and has me a bit confused and got me and Henny Legal to digging is the fact that there has been someone named as Joe's friend. Dun, dun, dun. And we've dug and I've gotten some information on who that friend could possibly be. And by the time this video is over, you will understand why I feel the way that I feel about this guy being the absolute connection to Joe and how it all links together. Now, please be sure to lean on that like button and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Shout out to everybody who is already a Mob Down Henny Gang member. Share the video out. Let's get these numbers up and let's dive into all of this good Henny that I got for y'all. So Ashlee Janae, she traveled over to Zanzibar with her now fiance, or would you call him her now fiance, with her boyfriend Joe McCann. They traveled over to Tanzania, and they spent time at the Cerebral Wildlife Resort. Now, Cerebral is where Ashlee was proposed to and where her birthday video was shot. But they did move to Zanzibar Resort they moved to the Zanzibar Resort, and that is where they were from the 4th all the way up until Ashlee's passing. Now, a lot of people had the resorts confused. I was one of those because I didn't even pay attention to the fact that it was 2 separate resorts, but it was, and no one really talked about the Cerebral Resort, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull it up for y'all. If you were over on my Twitch, then you know we already did this. But again, I'm bringing it over here to the YouTube. Y'all throw them Henny glasses in the chat. Stay active and lean on a like, please. So this right here that I'm going to pull up for y'all is going to be the first resort where Ashlee and Joe stayed at. This is the resort where Joe proposed at. And the now infamous, as you can see right here, birthday photo, because the hot tub said happy birthday Ashlee in it. I looked around, did some, looking to see. And this, to me, this is exactly where she was. So let's get this photo to boom. Does that look familiar? So according to a statement that was given by the Cerebral Resort, Ashlee was there with them, checked in on the 1st. They said she was there 3 nights and 2 days, but I don't understand the nights and days thing. But either way, we know she was there on the 1st, probably left on the 3rd or whatever, and ended up going to the Zanzibar. Now, Zanzibar Resort is 13 hours by car away from each other. So you've got the Wildlife Reserve Resort, and then you've got Zanzibar. According to Google, they're 13 hours away, which means that they probably flew from one place to the other. Now, what I found so odd and what I found so disturbing was the fact that Ashlee posted her birthday photo on her birthday, which was April 5th, but it was not a photo from Resort. It was from just the Cerebral Resort. There have been no birthday posts from the resort that they were at, where this incident happened, where she ended up passing. There's nothing. And I find that very suspicious and odd because this is a woman who shared with us her engagement. She shared with us her birthday. Why wouldn't she show something from the day of her birthday? Unless, nope, I can't even say this is from her birthday because they were at Zuri Resort on the 4th. So this would be a photo that was taken prior to her birthday. You understand? Now, there's been a lot of conflicting stories, a lot of conflicting rumors. I know one of the last videos that I did, I was looking at Cheyenne Corinne. And Cheyenne Corinne is the ABC 6 in Philadelphia. She's a journalist over there. She was talking to the family. She interviewed them and she came live and she said that the butler for Ashlee had come to the room at 2 a.m. So 2 a.m. was very suspicious to everyone, including her, especially being that the butler service does not operate at that time unless you pay for it. Well, Henny, how do you know that? Because it says so on the site. On the website, it clearly tells you that the butler service is from 7 a.m. to 2300 hours, which would be a 20. Well, this one says 2300, and down at the bottom it says 2300. So that's 11 o'clock, 11 p.m. So from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. you have a butler that is on call. Now, if you want him for the day, it's $200. If you want any extra hours, meaning to work past 11 p.m., then you would pay $45 a day for that service. But Cheyenne has since come to her Facebook page. She's removed the video down of her saying the 2 a.m. timeline and has since cleared up the videos since that last video that I showed y'all. And if you are on Twitch, I've already played it for y'all, but we are over here on the YouTube. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play for y'all the video from Cheyenne Corinne, who is from ABC 6 in Philadelphia here in the States. This is the young woman, again, who interviewed the family. So let's clear this up really quickly before we even get into the video. The 2 a.m. narrative is not the 2 a.m. narrative, and she corrects that. So I'm going to correct that, and we're going to keep going.
What happened to Ashlee Robinson?
We want to know.
Well, that's exactly what her family wants to know after she traveled to Zanzibar to celebrate her 31st birthday on April 5th. While she was there with her fiance, he proposed, and then she died less than a week later. I'm Action News reporter Cheyenne Corinne in Philadelphia, and today I spoke with Ashlee's parents, and they have a lot of questions about their daughter's death, but they also have a lot of misinformation. That what happened?
Sorry. I hate when I do that. Hold on one second.
A lot of misinformation.
Okay, so yes, she was alive on her birthday because her mother spoke to her on the 8th. Ashlee informed her mom that her and Joe had an argument or a disagreement. So she was definitely alive on her birthday.
That's circulating around social media that they want to clear up.
Uncertainty, mystery, anger, sadness. It's like a part of me has been taken away.
One of the main things they want to get across is that Ashlee's death is still under investigation. The family says that they actually haven't even heard back from police in Tanzania and that her cause of death is still being investigated.
Now, again, this is a couple of days ago because remember, I came to y'all, I brought y'all the video where she was saying that it was 2 a.m. and now she's come, I don't want to move it. Let me see. Does it say it here? It doesn't say it here, but I'll tell y'all when we're done with the video what day she posted this because the last time she did an update as far as I could see was the 17th. Now, I believe this was on the 14th. And the other video has since been removed from her Facebook page. But y'all know I played that video in the live. So y'all know that I'm not exaggerating. Y'all know I'm not giving y'all misinformation. Y'all know I'm not spinning over here. As best I can, I'm keeping up with the information that is being given to us. And yeah, so let's finish letting her clear up some of the things that the family said they want cleared up. Hey, everybody.
Because the autopsy hasn't been completed. There's also been some questions about where Ashlee is from. I've seen Miami and Oregon. She moved there when she was older, but she was raised and graduated from school in South Jersey. And today I spoke with her family in Delaware, and her other family lives in Jersey still.
So Ashlee is from Jersey. She moved to Miami or Oregon or both of them when she was older. Her family is in Delaware, not Philly, Delaware and Jersey, not Philly.
There's also been some questions about her relationship. So the family says that they have been together for about a year, year and a half. The family actually says that he spent Thanksgiving with them. However, they say that he did not ask for her hand in marriage.
So he did not go to the family to get their approval, as most people do when they're asking for someone's hand in marriage. Now, this is also backed up that Ashlee was with him back in 2025 because on November 3rd on her Instagram, she posted 365 down, here's to forever. Okay. And we're going to get back to this date right here in a minute. That November 3rd date, remember that. But let's finish with Cheyenne first.
But the family says they really believed that the two were truly in love. But one of the main things the family wants to get across is that they don't think Ashlee would ever hurt herself. They say she was happy and excited for this next stage of life. They also say that throughout this entire trip, they have been talking to her and that she was in good spirits. There's also been some questions about the timeline, and that's because it's really not clear. The family says that they actually didn't even learn about Ashlee's death from the fiance. They learned about it from the hotel staff who called the mother to notify her. Then when the father says that he asked the fiance, why did you wait so long to tell us? Because this was 11 hours reportedly after, according to the parents. They say that the fiance said he had just found out. However, the hotel told the family that they found out about Ashlee's death from the fiance 5 hours prior.
Now, that's a big, I didn't stop it because I'm going to go back and explain. Now, y'all probably understand why I was shifting the way that I was between the IG. You can't hear again. Can y'all not hear it or can y'all hear it? Let me know. Let me know. You can hear? Okay. All right. I'm not shifting screens right now. I'm not shifting screens. Okay. So now the story is Joe found out 11 hours later. And the hotel is saying they found out from Joe 5 hours after it happened. Hello, can we not get the story right? Can we not get the story right? And again, this is coming from Legacy News, from an anchor who's talking to the family. The family is telling her, look, Joe called us 11 hours later. The dad said, I asked him why. He said he just found out. The hotel is saying, well, we found out 5 hours ago from him. Suspicious as fuck.
If you guys have any other questions.
Okay, so that's this video. Now, she did do another one, okay? Now, let's listen to the second one, and then let's get into all of it. Let's tie it all together.
Hey, guys, so I want to provide you a quick update on the death of Ashlee Robinson, better known as Ashlee Janae on social media. I have been in continuous contact with her family, and right now they are anxiously waiting for the results of the autopsy. They say that they were told that the autopsy was completed on Tuesday. They were expecting it earlier this week, and they just do not know what the holdup is. But they're waiting before they do anything else to first get those results. And the family says throughout this entire process, they haven't heard from Joe again. The last I told you was that he was being questioned by police and they have confiscated his passport. I want to be clear that this does not mean he's a suspect or in police custody and being detained. This just means that they are continuing their investigation and questioning him is a part of it. And I also want to give some more information about the timeline and Ashlee being found after watching police's press conference. So They say that a room attendant went to check on Ashlee around 7:30 p.m. and this is just kind of normal procedure to make sure that guests don't need anything. And at that time, the room attendant told police that Ashlee said that she was fine. She won't need anything until about 20 minutes, so to come back. But she did ask the room attendant reportedly for a phone charger. They gave her the phone charger and then returned about 20 minutes later. The room attendant told police that when they returned, the lights in the villa were off and they did not get an answer from Ashlee. So that's when they used an emergency key card to enter and then found her. And I also want to clear up right now, there's a video on social media circulating.
Okay, hold on. Before we get into the video that she's saying circulating. So this whole Butler story does not sit right with me. I don't care if it was at 7:30 in the morning, 7:30 at night, 2 a.m. in the morning. So the thing is, this did happen in the evening, okay? It had to happen at night in order for the room to be dark. I don't know if it's dark over there at 7:30 or not. I don't know any of that, okay? What I do know is for someone to say come back and then you come back and my room is dark and you come in my room, why? What prompted you to go in there? Like, we need an explanation. Did you go in her room because, you know that there was a situation, an incident that happened earlier that day or earlier in the evening? You know that there was a separation that happened and so you came back? Is that why you went? Why did you feel the need to open the door and go in there? Not saying that he did, listen, why were you in that room? If it looked like nobody was there, what did you go in that room for? And why would you use your emergency card to go in there? That does not sit well, okay? So again, this is confirmed. But now let me say this, because I received a clip. Someone sent me a screen recording from Queen Sheba's live. I don't know if I'm allowed to use her content or not, out of respect for other content creators. I just, when we're covering the same stories, I don't like to use their stuff unless they say it's okay. But I received a clip, and in that clip, I think she interviewed the friend, Ashlee's friend. And Ashlee's friend said Ashlee's phone would never die. Like, she would never let her phone die. Her phone stayed charged. And to me, that's what I was thinking to myself. Like, why would her phone die? Like, why would she need a charger? Did Joe take the charger with him when they were separated from the room, being spiteful so that she couldn't speak to nobody? Like, but that still wouldn't even equate to anything. Now, she's going to address a video that's apparently going around. And then I'm going to get into the separation, the charger, and who the hell is Joe's Zanzibar connection?
That claims to show the moments Ashlee and Joe were arguing, and it's absolutely fake. As of right now, the resort or police have not released any surveillance footage, and this is what the family has been requesting. Again, guys, be very, very careful about the information you are consuming, because a lot of it is misinformation. And those who are not journalists that are reporting on this case are just getting the information from us and regurgitating it, and also adding some facts in that are not facts.
Well, some of us are using common sense and logic as well. You left that part out, darling. But thank you, Cheyenne, for your report. Now, what I was showing you guys over here on the Instagram, when I was putting the Instagram up, I was showing y'all that timeline, because people are still asking, well, how long were her and Joe together? How long were her and Joe together? Her and Joe, the family confirmed, was a year and a half. Now, on Ashlee's Instagram on November 3rd, 2025, Ashlee posted 365 down, here's to forever. Now, this got me side-eyeing Joe really hard, okay? And I'm going to show you why, because I'm going to bring something back up to y'all remembrance, because Joe... Hold on. Y'all remember I showed y'all Joe was married. I'm going to pull that back up for y'all right now. Hold on. I got it. Right here. Remember, this was him with his first wife. And we read this article already. We read the article. In the article, it said that Shay did not get along with her dad. She didn't have a good relationship with him. Those were her words, not mine. She said she had to do the painstaking task of deciding if she was going to walk herself down the aisle or not. Joe told her she would never walk by herself again, only for him to turn around and leave her to walk by herself again. Where is the document? Hold on, y'all. I got it. Y'all know I have the divorce document because I played it for y'all. Anyway, while I look for this, that's the timeline that I don't want. Okay, I've got to make this bigger. Why wasn't that grouped in with that? Oh, here it is. Okay, boom. Don't play with me. Do not play with me. Okay. So Joe, Ashlee and Joe met. That means that they met, according to this, and made it official. November 3rd, 2024 is when they started their relationship, according to this metadata right here, and according to the family. No, he is not married. He is not currently married. I have already put that up, but let me run it back for y'all. Let me go ahead and let me make this bigger so everybody can see what they need to see, because I showed this information already. This is an actual court doc. Y'all already know me. I don't have time to be forging and whatever. Back in August 15th of 2024 is when Joe and his ex-wife Shay began their divorce proceedings. Okay. That's when they began their divorce proceedings. Their divorce was concluded September 4th, 2024. It was a stipulated general judgment of dissolution of marriage. Their marriage was dissolved in 3 weeks in September. Then in November, he's with Ashlee. 2 months later, almost to the day. Because if Ashlee is stating that their relationship started November 4th of 2024 via her post, November 4th, 2024, that's a little short of 2 months later. It doesn't say why they were divorced. We're trying to see if we can get that information for y'all. But yes. So Joe, why did you have an expedited divorce? Did you see Ashlee? Did you see Ashlee ahead of time? Did you like Ashlee? Two months later, you're in a relationship. Come on. 2 months later. Now, again, remember, this is according to what's being shown on social media. We don't know. Everything in this video is alleged because we weren't there, so we don't really know what happened. Let me go ahead and let me put my banner running across the bottom of this, because there you go. Everything is alleged. Okay, everything is alleged. But for me, that's suspect as hell already, because who the hell goes from a 3-week divorce, 2 months later, you're in a relationship with somebody, and then the following year, year and some change, you're now asking this person to marry you. I don't know. Stranger things have happened. Sometimes truth is stranger than fiction, but that's what I saw. Now, the thing about Joe and Ashlee do I still have it up? Because I need that up. I don't need this up. I need this up. Did I show y'all this already? That they were at Cerebral? Okay, so we already went through this. They were at Cerebral, but this is just a quick refresh for people coming in. They were at Cerebral Wildlife Resort. That's where they were before they went to Zuri Zanzibar. This is the picture. There is the tub. There's the background. That is the same picture that we saw over on her Instagram for her birthday. Just a quick little refresher. Okay, we've already gone through the news anchor Cheyenne Corin from ABC6 out there in Philly. See, same thing. All right. Okay, hold on one second because it just told me it's going to act janky. Thank you for giving me a heads up, Bookie. Now, the whole thing with all of this, we're going through this to get to what we got to get to about who Joe's Zanzibar connection is. So please make sure y'all lean on that like, share the video out, stay active in the comments. Now, we know that they had this argument, but I want y'all to look at the layout of this resort, okay? This resort is kind of big, kind of small, not sure how it is on the ground because we're getting an aerial view from this, but just so that you guys can get an eyeball on things. I know y'all have seen this already probably, but this is the area where they were separated, okay? Look, this is where Ashlee was. This is where Joe was. She was in 24, which was their original suite villa. He was moved to Villa 65. They say this is an 8 to 10 minute walk. I don't believe that that's an 8 to 10 minute walk. It may be a little bit longer than that because you have to remember we're talking about on the ground. And for me, looking at this from an aerial view, it doesn't, to me, give 8 to 10 minute, maybe 15-minute walk. Maybe. I don't know because I'm not there, so I don't know. But we talked about the butler service. The butler service is at 7 a.m. to 11 p.m., but you can pay for extra. Now, the thing about this that bothers me the most about this whole thing with this guy coming to get a charger, why did Ashlee have to stop him for a charger when we're going to go into these rooms? Okay, let's start with this garden villa right here because I want y'all to see this for yourselves if you haven't seen this already. Going into the garden villa, if you look on the desk right here, there's a telephone. Why didn't she call down to the front desk? Why couldn't she call down to the front desk? That's one. Two, the butler claims he came in and found her in trouble and left. And according to the timeline that we're hearing, he was gone for about an hour. We know that there's a time difference, a 7-hour time difference between things. So it makes things a little bit difficult because some people are saying different times and dates because of what's being reported. The thing is, what cannot be disputed is that there is a telephone in the room. It is right here. There is at least one phone in the room. Why didn't the butler see her in there? And if not use his phone, use the phone in the room to be able to call and tell somebody we have a guest that is in trouble. Why didn't you take her down? Why would you leave her up there struggling according to the reports? That's according to the reports. I don't know if that's true or not, but this is what we're hearing. When we go into the jacuzzi suite, let's go in here real quick. When we go into the jacuzzi suite, what is over here? My. Let me turn. Look, up. There is another phone in the jacuzzi suite. So now this is two different suites that we have gone into, and there's a telephone in the room. At least one that we could see. I didn't mean to do that. At least one that we can see. Let's see with the oceanfront suite. Is there a telephone over there? There is a telephone right here. Uh-oh. Hold on. Don't give me a hard time. Go zoom out. I don't know if y'all can see it or not, but it's right here. Right where this arrow is to go up, there's a telephone right there. So 3 rooms that we have gone into virtually, and there is a telephone in the room. And you're telling me that a call couldn't be made by either Ashlee for a charger or the butler for help. if this story be true, because again, remember, I said the friend did an interview last night and the friend said Ashlee would never be nowhere without the charger. The only way I could see Ashlee being without her charger is if Joe took her charger. I still raise my question, though, about who is the next of kin. I'm still raising my question about who is the next of kin. Because remember, we went through the U.S. Embassy of Tanzania. We went through this website. We read what happens when you have a body of a U.S. citizen over there in Tanzania. When you have a loved one that has passed away over there, the U.S. Embassy in Tanzania, it says they can assist the family and friends arrange the deposition of remains in the event of a death of a U.S. citizen in Tanzania. Okay. But they talk about they work with the local funeral homes selected by the family selected by the family. Okay. It also says that they would go by whatever the family, the next of kin's request is. So who is the next of kin according to them in Tanzania? Because if you remember, the first hospital's report lists Joe as the husband. Didn't the worker say he ran into her while she was on a walk? See, there's a bunch of different things. That's one version of the story, Texas Bama, that he ran into her while she was out on a walk. There's another version of the story where he was servicing the rooms and asked Ashlee if she needed anything. And she told him, yes, she needed a charger. Like he came to her room to see if she needed anything doing his butler services. And that's how the charger thing came into a play. Another one said that he was doing his rounds and Ashlee stopped him and asked him if he had a charger. So there's three different versions of the story when it comes down to the butler. However, there's two different versions about who found Ashlee first. Was it Joe? Because Joe said he found her with security. The butler says he found her when he came back to get his charger, when he entered into her villa, when he saw that the lights were off and it appeared that nobody was in there. So there's so many different rumors that are going around. But what I'm sticking to right now is who are they considering to be the next of kin? Because the next of kin is who they're supposed to be communicating with. And if they're not talking to the family, is Joe being considered the next of kin? Now, I did pose the question, did they elope? Could that have been what their argument was about? Because they eloped and Ashlee wanted to tell her family and Joe didn't want her to say nothing to nobody yet. Don't know. But I'm just asking a question when it comes down to this, because it's very suspect that this family is not allowed to get the medical report, which has been done since Tuesday, which they didn't even know. Okay. Until they were able, the father had to travel to Washington, D.C. in order to get them to help him to get information from Tanzania about what's going on with his daughter. And that's when they found out the autopsy had been completed that Tuesday. But they still haven't released her body. They still haven't released the autopsy. And here we are, 10 to 11 days, depending upon which date of death we go by, later, and there's still nothing. The police commander has said nothing. Not a spokesperson from the hotel has said anything. And most importantly, we haven't heard anything from Joe either. Nothing. Antonio Anderson says Joe was her next of kin and he is in charge of the body. How if the family has already landed in Zanzibar? When did the family land in Zanzibar? Tanzanite, where did you hear that at? Because I haven't seen nothing reported on that. Okay, so we need to figure this out. Not only that, what is going on with her body? 10 to 11 days? Has the body been embalmed? What are they doing to preserve the body? Questions. I have questions. I have questions. That's a long time. If she passed on the 9th or the 10th, we are now on the 20th day of April. Where is Ashlee Janae's medical report? Why hasn't her family heard anything? Why can they not get the body? They have the funds. They raised the money. Their GoFundMe did exceedingly well. They're prepared to get their loved one. Okay? And they have not stopped the GoFundMe, which tells me they have not had the final arrangements made. You can still donate. You can still donate. I don't need this right here. With all of this suspicion that is going on, that leads me to this person that I'm about to show y'all. His name is Voltov Deshmar. And who is Voltov Deshmar? Voltov Deshmar is the owner of the Zanzibar Resort. But he's more than that. He is also co-owner of RSJ Investments. Why are you bringing this up, Henny? What does this mean? Well, let me see if I could pull that back up that I had pulled up earlier for y'all. So, RSJ Investments was dealing with a company called Rockaway. And RSJ Investment deals with hedge funds and old traditional money, okay? That's what they deal in. Joe McCann. We know that he is the CEO of Asymmetric. We know Asymmetric deals in crypto. It's crypto-focused investment. It also deals with blockchains. It also deals with digital investments. It deals with crypto opportunities. It does. But Joe is also associated with a company called Solana. And Solana is also a blockchain system. Now, if you don't know what a blockchain system is, I'll break it down. I'll explain it to you. Blockchaining is like digital accounting is how I look at it, because it records money that goes, everything that goes in and goes out. You can't alter it. You can't edit it. You can't delete it. You can't delete nothing that goes on. And everybody involved can see what's going on when it comes down to the ins and outs. Now, Joe was heavily promoting Solana, okay? And he was involved in a $1 to $1.5 billion project. And that project was to raise large-scale capital so that they could acquire significant amounts of assets and position the company so that traditional investors can gain exposure to the crypto economic system. So he wanted people who were still doing traditional investments to go into not the liquid terminator. I can't read y'all comments. I'm trying to be serious and y'all traditional investors to get involved into crypto. Now, what happened was RJS, which is Voldov's, did I say it right? I probably did not say that man's name right at all. At all. Voltoslav. Vladislav Dutchmere. I'm just going to call him Dutchmere because Dutchmere is very easy for me to say. It's close to Cashmere. So Dutchmere, with his RSJ investments, gave money to Rockaway, and Rockaway invests for him. Guess where Rockaway invested their money into? Solana. Joe is a heavy investor in Solana. So where is the connection? This guy right here. See, the cryptocurrency circle and all of those hedge fund investors and all of that, it's a very small circle. And I said this over on Twitch. They're about 1 to 2 degrees of separation, which means that they're a phone call or a meeting away from the other person. You think that Joe traveled to Tanzania and they are in that close proximity with overlapping finances, which means overlapping circles. And this is not something that I don't have proof of this because you don't have no pictures of him and Joe together. But at the same time, you don't have overlapping money and overlapping circles, and you just don't know one another. That's dumb. Of course they know each other. And then this guy owns the resort that Joe is at with his then fiance, who ends up turning up unalived. And people running around saying that Joe is in custody. He's locked up. He's in jail. Y'all think that man is not broke. Okay, I also said this on Twitch. He's not our standard of broke as the everyday common person, 9 to 5, whatever. He's not our level of broke. He's rich people level of broke, which means when you deal in cryptocurrency, what I have learned is that it fluctuates all the time. It consistently fluctuates. So his net worth goes up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. But that does not mean that Joe, and that's the other thing I need to tell y'all too. That does not mean that Joe was not capable of reaching in his pockets and hitting people off with money. I told y'all how much a shilling is over there. Is this it? I'm going to show y'all. Oh, yeah, I got it. Oh, I love it when it comes back to me. Let me go back to the embassy and show y'all what the shillings are. For 14 American dollars, it turns out to be 30,000 Tanzanian shillings. 53 American dollars is 120,000 Tanzania shillings. You give somebody $100, you think they're not going to be quiet. You give them $200, you think they're not going to be quiet. Some people will be quiet for the 14. Some people will be quiet for the 53. How much do you think a police commissioner would be quiet for? Just asking a question. Because here's the thing. Dashmir, because we're calling him by his last name. I don't know who this guy is. Hold on, because it's telling me that it's going to act janky because I'm doing too much flippity flopping around. So let me get back over here to this. Here's a review. Valdorf Dashmir found this incredible magical. Then together with RSJ Investments, which is the investment firm that he is co-owner of, carved and shaped it, and Andrea Canova with her staff made it unique and exceptional. What are they talking about? Zuri Zanzibar Resort. Right there. There are very few truly special, serene places left in this often troubled and complex world of ours. Zuri Zanzibar Resort is one of them. This resort hosts people with money. Yeah. It hosts people with money. This is not a budget savvy. Excuse me. This is not a budget savvy type of resort. Okay. This resort is a high-end luxury resort. This resort attracts international travels and high net worth individuals and people operating on elevated financial levels. Where's the proof of that? Because they still say nobody has been detained. So, and you think that somebody can't buy their way out of stuff in another country where it's already been talked about and told about how corrupt they are? So now you've got Joe over here. You got Joe over here at Dushmere's resort. Has a situation that happens. You think this guy right here doesn't have any type of pull or leverage over there, being that he has a resort that brings in money? See, that's the thing, like the corruption of it all. That's a real thing. That's not a fake thing. If we have not learned anything else about this world, we have learned that money, power, privilege gets you just about anything that you want in this world. And if you want something to go away, you can make it go away for the right price. Why hasn't Joe said anything? You think a multimillionaire doesn't have a lawyer on retainer? You think his lawyer hasn't told him to not say a word, not talk to anyone? Do you think that his rich friends are going to tell him to say anything? Because once again, Dashmir, because I told y'all I can't say his name, owns the resort. He owns the resort. And I just gave y'all how they're connected. They're connected through the whole crypto investment blockchaining world. This is his Zanzibar connection. This is his friend. I'm willing to bank on it. Can y'all hear the rain in the background? No, I don't see the thing going up. Y'all probably hear it when I talk. When it comes down to, I also the other night was talking to you guys about cerebral hypoxia, and we were talking about suffocation and stuff, right? So cerebral hypoxia is a medical emergency that occurs when the brain does not receive enough oxygen. This condition can result from various forms of asphyxiation, including strangulation and suffocation. Oxygen deprivation is extremely dangerous because brain cells are highly sensitive and can begin to sustain damage within minutes of the oxygen supply being interrupted. So, when people were saying that Ashlee was found, oh, my bad, my bad. When people were saying that Ashlee was found unresponsive or unconscious, it's not that hard. Hold on. Okay. Huh. Okay. So when someone goes through this type of a situation, because I'm trying to be sensitive over here on YouTube. When someone goes through this type of a situation, it's not like the strangulation happens and they immediately pass away within a few minutes. It takes time. So the first thing that happens is a person does lose consciousness because of the lack of oxygen that's going to the brain. So when they say they found her unconscious, unconscious means a person is in a state of not alert or aware of their surroundings. They might be breathing, but unable to be aroused. Okay. Unresponsive means a person does not react to stimuli, such as being loudly asked if they're okay or having their shoulders shaken. So in this situation, either one of those can be correct. She could have been unconscious and unresponsive. And then when you get to the first medical report that talks about cold extremities, racing pulse, dilated pupils, those are all symptoms of cerebral hypoxia. Because the brain and the heart, the blood is rushing to the brain and the heart, and it's taking blood from the extremities and other organs in the body. So that's why her hands and feet were cold, but it's also pulling blood away from the liver, the kidneys, in order to surround the heart and the brain to protect it. And it is possible for someone to then pass away hours later from complications of this. But the problem that I'm having now is that Cheyenne, the news reporter from Philly, has said that Joe claims he found out 11 hours after the incident, and the hotel is saying that he's the one that told them 5 hours later. So the butler running and telling them that, hey, the guest in room 25, she's in trouble, that didn't happen. Man, all I'm going to say is this. Everyone is overlooking. I don't know if the butler did it. I don't know if Joe did it, but all I know is somebody did something and it is not kosher. Tanzanite, I already covered that. I don't know at what point you came into the live, but if you go all the way back to the beginning, I already talked about her being at Cerebral, and I already talked about her coming to Zuri, but I'm not talking about any other resorts because that has nothing to do with this story right here. And here, I don't like to do a whole lot of speculation. I like to brainstorm on the facts that we have and the things that we can actually pull. I've given y'all the embassy. Google it, Blossom. You know what kosher means. Everybody knows what kosher means. This is dark, deep. It's more layers than her passing away. Exactly. I want to see this family get answers to what happened to their daughter. This could easily have been, if you have children, this could easily be one of your children. If you have a daughter, this could easily be your daughter. Easily be your daughter. And I want to see justice happen for whoever it was. I don't care if it was the butler. I don't care if it was the maid. I don't care if it was Joe. I don't care if it was whomever. It could be the Goonie Google from Mount Cypress. I agree with you, Brian. I agree with you. I think the family should close up the GoFundMe. They've got the funds to go. I think that they should go ahead and tie that up and fly out there because it's been 10 to 11 days since this girl passed. What are they doing to preserve her body? How much would it cost for Dashmir, because I can't say his first name. I'm going to keep saying that. How much would it cost for Joe's friend here who owns the Zuri Zanzibar hotel, resort, and Joe and whoever else is there that's a part of their little investment clique, their little crypto clique, that whole little clique over there? How much would it cost them to bribe to pay off. Remember, this is allegedly. We're just brainstorming here. That doesn't mean that this is fact. I have no factual proof of this, but I'm asking questions. How much would it cost for them to bribe an embassy worker and the morgue for them to be able to keep the body? What if? This is a huge what if. What if they are paying them to keep that body so that it does decompose, and any physical marks that could be something that is easily and readily visible to the eye, that could trace back to something that happened? How do we know that this is not being covered up? So by the time the body gets back to the family, it's poorly decomposed, and they blame it on the fact that they don't have sophistication as the US to preserve a body, and they're unable to get the clues and the closure that they need. What if that's what's going on? Because I really refuse to believe, even if Joe is telling them that I'm the next of kin, that they would shut out a mother and a father who can prove via documentation that that's their child from any information unless there's some type of influence coming down. How much would it cost to bribe a police commissioner to not say a word? You know what they're hoping happens? They're hoping that we stop talking about it. They're hoping that we move on to the next subject. They're hoping that this story just goes away. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm not letting it go away. Now, the reason why I came and brought this guy's name and the connection to Joe to the surface is because we've heard that Joe had a friend in Zanzibar, and this guy has financial connections. This guy's business has financial connections to Joe's business and owns the resort. Let's not forget that. I want to see justice for this family. Now, I do not come live multiple times a day. I do not come live every day talking about Ashlee Janae. I will be talking about David and moving into that case because that case is egregious as well, and it's right here in the homeland. But as things become available, or as I start putting things together myself, and I have tangible stuff that I can show you that we could walk through and work through, I will come live and I will discuss with y'all. But if there's no updates, there's no updates. And I'm not going to make up updates just so that I can keep the algorithm flowing. That's not what I do over here. I already talked about Cardi and Tasha Blossom. There's a whole video on Cardi and Tasha. Thank you. Happy 24-month anniversary to Be More Careful. Blossom, Cardi B, Tasha K's information is in a whole nother video. Hold on. Let me close out some of these windows because I am done with this topic for now. But let me go ahead and let me pull this up for you so that you know what video to go to. I mean, if I need to pull it out of the video and do a standalone video, then I will. But I talked about it on the late night pour up. In this video right here, the late night pour up, I talked about Tasha K and Cardi B. I read through their stuff. So I didn't show you. Hold on. Right here, the late night pour up. 9 days ago, I talked about it. Okay. So you can go check that out. That video also has time markers on there. So you'll be able to go, if you go down in the comment section or in the description of the video, there's timestamps. So you could just timestamp right to it because it was a long one. Okay. but I didn't forget. Anyway, you guys, if you find anything out on Ashlee, feel free to send it to me on Instagram, That Girl Henny Reviews, or official That Girl Henny on IG as well. I will look into it. I will put it together. I'm definitely, if you see something, say something, send it to me in my inbox, and let's see. Your story just may make it to a pour up or a standalone video on its own. Thank you, everybody that tapped in and tuned in. Be sure to share the video, lean on a like on the way out. And if you're on the replay, hype the video. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace, everybody.